Hello Chipsters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Hopefully the camera isn't going to fall over. Nearly did. We're looking at just the three figures from Artizan Designs. I had to look who they were. I buy so many figures I forget. Artizan Designs Wild West or Old West figures. It seems transitioning from the Wild West to Old West these days. Yet more changes. Just bought the three off eBay. You know I love my Old West. I love the times. If I can find a documentary, I will put a link to the Wild West podcast. I think that's what it's called. I should do. I watch it all the time, but I forget. But I will have a link in the description if you want to learn about the Lincoln County Wars. My favourite, obviously Billy the Kid, Pat Garrett, Josiah Dox Gerlach, Murphy Dolan, all that type of stuff. The Santa Fe Ring. If you want to know about Wild Bill Hickok, they've just done he's just done a fantastic series of videos on Texas Jack Omohundro, who you probably know fought in the Civil War in the Confederacy, then became a cowboy in around Texas, and then did a lot of scouting for the military with the help of Bill Cody of the Wild West, Buffalo Bills, Wild West show type stuff. They went on the stage together, then they separated, never badly though, they never fell out, they just went their own ways. And Texas Jack went too young, about 36 or 39. TB and whiskey finally killed him. But never a gunfighter, although a big friend of Wild Bill Hickok. That's why in my head put them all together. But yeah, go check out the podcast I've just mentioned. There will be a proper link to the fantastic, really is. There's so many that they'll do different. It could be on the Nez Perce, it could be Kit Carson, anything to do with the Old West really. Some are in greater detail than others, some that they'll come back to and flesh out more. But it's usually a good 20 minutes, half-hour video. Put it on, do your stuff, and and it's not sensationalised either. It's like I've seen Wild West figures, and yes, these are like wargaming figures, so you could call it sensationalised in a way. However, the Lincoln County Wars. I'm going to show three bank robbers in a minute. Billy the Kid wasn't a bank robber. Was he a thief? You got to say he was. He stole horses. Stole as a youngster. Stole stuff. You can say is he a murderer? I'll leave that open to debate. It's always a debate with Billy the Kid. But you know what I mean. They don't sensationalise stuff. They just say as they follow the evidence type of thing, and then you can decide for yourselves. Anyway, I digress. This is supposed to be it's supposed to be an unboxing of these three figures, not a lot, but there will also be I'm getting my little collection of painted figures out because I just wanted to see them, and I thought, well, I should point the camera at them. So let's get down to the bench, take a look. As I said, though, check the Wild West podcast out because I really do think it's worth. It don't cost you anything, and it's really worth sticking on in the background and listen to it. I'll often put on some of the older stuff, just go back and listen to that as I'm painting and making models or whatever. Anyway, let's go down and take a look. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Just a quick look at these guys. There's not a lot to show, but they really are nice figures again. As you can see them in the raw. It's literally as I've got them out of the blister. They are obviously, with all these, you often get all this infill here. Now, wouldn't it be awkward to get out, but to try and chase all that out, I mean, that's going to be solid metal. I mean, I have got metal reaming out burrs and that, and I did think about doing it because when it's like that, yes, you're not seeing a lot. Obviously, you've seen them down there, so you're never really going to see underneath it. I don't know yet. Obviously it's his duster. So if you don't know, in the West, because of obviously the dust flying around to keep when they're on the horseback, or even in a stagecoach, because let's face it, they weren't particularly airtight. They'd often put travelling dusters over their rest of their clothes. When I paint them, and you'll see them in a minute, sometimes I paint them as dusters and sometimes I paint them as full-on jackets, and you can do that because you can paint, as you'll see some of my figures in a minute, I paint linings inside and just make them a bit more, try and define that character, if that makes sense. These guys will just be wearing the light tan dusters. I think they mainly wore them like a beigey colour. I think they had white ones. I swore I've seen some like greeny grey ones and some greeny blue ones as well. I don't mean on people's figures, because often it could be like me, it could just be somebody making it up, but actual reenactors wearing them. So yeah, he's got his 6-shooter. I think I'll just gently drill the barrel out if I can on that very slightly. He's got his takings over. He's obviously got saddlebags full of money. Yeah, I was debating. I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I don't have a ton at the moment. I've been splashing the cash quite a lot recently, so on stuff I need or want. But I just saw these and I thought, I've got to have them. I was actually looking for some World War II German paratroopers from Artizan, and the only ones I could see on eBay, they were asking so much in postage. I went, no. I saw these guys, and I've bought off this fella before, and I just had to have these. But there was also some lawmen as well, and they were nicely posed, but I thought I'd go for these first. So I'll probably do these in fairly sepia tones. I've tried to move away slightly from the sepia too much, because whenever you see them, people paint them, they're always in sepia colours. And when I do a fair bit of reading up on stuff, and yes, of course, a lot of the trousers were in browns and beiges and black and that, but that time period, that the actual clothes were actually quite colourful, lots of checks and lines in them and stuff. So I try and replicate that to a degree, or at least say, right, these guys are townspeople, they might be a bit more smarter than these guys that are on the trail, going from town to town robbing, or stagecoaches or whatever. So that's the first guy. This is a nice pose here. He's got his wounded comrade here. Looks like he's been gut shot. I don't fancy his chances. But he's trying to get him away and obviously fend off the irate townspeople. Again, this fella's got a duster on. There'll be a bit of clean up here. There's a fair bit of infill there, which is a shame, but we'll try our best. I might have to get a more powerful drill bit and drill that out. As I say, the Artizan figures, like the World War II figures, are chunky, but I find they've always got quite a charm to them. I quite like them. The faces are always fairly descriptive. You do get a fair bit sometimes of infill, and it'd be, let's face it, you're doing a double figure here, so it's always going to be a bit harder. Yeah, that drew this little group just drew me to them rather than getting the lawman straight away. I'll get the lawman at some other time. I always find the hands are a bit simplified, but that's just, I can usually paint some knuckles in and stuff, so that's not too bad. There's another guy then. So now our last figure. Now, of course, one of these are going to have to be my Mara Joe from Mad Genius Productions, who never shows his face on camera. I do believe that's to stop the amount of screaming women that suddenly, he becomes like one of these Korean boy bands. So he has to keep his face off camera, only shows hands. So one of these will be, I've always said when I get to a point where I've got some buildings, and all these people will be named after my fellow YouTubers. I'm not going to pick names just yet, but definitely anybody that's got his face covered is going to have to be Joe. There you go. Right, we'll do an oil change and we'll get the figures out. Right guys, oil change. Yes, I have been having Bon Jovi's Go Down in a Blaze of Glory from Young Guns, or Young Guns 2, on the in the background as I've been putting all these out. Sorry, I'm just moving some Napoleonic figures I've got to prime. They'll all get damaged. Right. Not a lot, is it really? But as you know me, I flip backwards and forwards, and then when I'm in the mood to do some other stuff, I do it. So I just thought we'll just have a look at my little collection so far, because these are for me, unless hard times get harder, but I would prefer to keep them. I just love painting them. As I say, I love the Old West. All my American marrows that are lucky enough to either live in them places or to be able to at least go and visit them once in your lifetime. I'll probably never be able to. Oh well. But I'm always looking at old sepia photographs and reading up. It's hard to get old West type books, you know, on like Billy the Kid and all that over here. It seems to be a lot harder. And also I don't like the ones that are overly biased and things, you know, making people. The problem is we don't make out that the people in the modern day, people that rob and all the rest of it, as almost heroes, where we seem to do it in the Old West. So this guy here, I've painted him with these are some of the Pinkertons, and I've painted them with jacket linings and just looking. You can't see there, but he has actually got faded checks in there. You just see them little darks. I purposely kept it really muted, but I've got a feeling I might have over muted that one, but hey. I believe his Winchester, the end had broken off, which is why it's got that slight bend, and I've had to super glue it. I can't touch it or it'll just snap. So here we got a duster. What I try and do with most of my painting is you try and use stuff in a bit in harmony, if that makes sense. So the guy I've just showed you with like the orange and yellow jackets and stuff, I get a lot of these from reenactors. I just trust that they know what they're doing, you know. And then I'll try and pick colours that will roughly, if you've got one of those colour wheels, that will give you a very basic colour wheel, will give you a start, and you just look like, if you get a little colour wheel, even if you just look at it online, you don't have to get one of the fancy ones that breaks it all down, but just one of the basic ones that some places give you free with when you get your paint. You just look at either a colour that's side by side to each other or direct opposites, always a good way. And it will give you an idea how to give you like a harmony of colours, which your eye, when you look at it, will find, you know, interesting. I've probably gone a bit fierce on the black lining on this one. It's amazing when you come back to figures after a few months, but I need it to stand out. That isn't so bad because it's deep in shade, but I think I've probably gone a bit too heavy on doing that one. But again, I'm not going to cry about it. They're all still being enjoyable. Another duster. All these are obviously classic Pinkerton film poses type of thing. Although with this guy's glasses, I'm not sure he could see the end of his barrel, never mind a target that's a couple of 100 feet away. But no. You'll see all my bases vary slightly because I never keep recipes for anything. I tend to just think, oh, that's a nice colour. It doesn't really bother me because they can be used in all different scenarios, even on the same area, ground changes. These were the very first ones, pick him up again. This is the very first one I did, and I put that soft or hard tone, whatever they call it, in there, wash. And although you get some definition and some darkness to it, it wasn't really what I was after. Those last couple I've just shown you are. I had a go at making my own cactus, if you remember. Of course, it could just be a cucumber or an aubergine, but it's supposed to be a cactus. Again, this guy I've used greeny greys. Though I've got, I think that's another RAF colour. As I said to you guys, don't ever be sold on what it says on the bottle, just go for the colour. I mean, I use loads of different colours for modern vehicles and you name it in my painting of my figures. I don't go on oh, it's for Napoleonics or it's for Old West characters. Try to do a bit using the old rubber tyre black. I try and do a bit of staining, sweat staining around the hat bands and stuff. Again, something like that. If you're worried about painting eyes, it's a lot easier to paint them into the corners than it is to get them straight away, so you can have a looking off to the side there. Obviously, you know, if you do a whole lot like this and they're all looking off to the side, it can look a bit funny. but people ain't going to notice. I think these were supposed to be Texas Rangers, but again, you can use them for anything. Some of the eyes it's harder to put in. It depends, you know, what figures are like. It really just depends on how they've been sculpted. I blued the barrel on this one, gave it a metallics barrel. Again, it's white metal, so you never get 100% straight barrel. That's just the life of white metal, really. I've put these on the slightly thicker bases. I might have to buy some more because I don't normally have these thicker bases. I think this guy was almost done off one of those spaghetti westerns. I think they're the, you know what, they're the only ones I don't like. I don't like spaghetti westerns. Never have done. Don't know why, but I don't. See, it's been made all raggedy there. That classic like pinky long johns that you see some of them wear. It's fairly benign. It's just again, I think I've done him looking off to the side, haven't I? Fairly, again, muted, fairly benign figure, really. Just, it happened to, I like the other ones and he just happened to be in the pack as well, so he's just waiting for developments. Now this one definitely could be I'll Be Your Huckleberry. So Doc Holliday, I think he's supposed to be Doc Holliday. I've not necessarily painted him as Doc Holliday, but I believe he's supposed to be. Obviously Doc started the gunfight at the OK Corral, really, when he got the old 12 gauge shotgun out from under his cape, jacket, whatever you want to call it, and started firing. As I said, never take a drunk dentist to a gunfight. What's that? Never take a drunk dentist when you want to arrest somebody. That was it. What else? Now, this is Doc Holliday. Well, Bill Hickok even. Thank you. I didn't like this one at all. Now, I gave him a really spiffing type of jacket, trousers and all the rest of it, because Doc actually was quite a natty dresser when he got the money. So that's how I painted him out. And I actually went to again, I went online and found out what people were wearing in the West at that particular era, and these were taken from proper, one of these sites that knows all this type of stuff. And Doc was actually redhead. They said he's always shown with dark hair, but he was actually red. So that's how he's been painted. One thing I should start doing is drilling the ends of the barrels out of the Colts and all that, because they could do with it. I also swing from sometimes painting them with a non-metallic to a metallic, although with these, because they're like blued, he's like a swarthy type gambler bloke. And the last one, oh, it's funny when you get more cactus around. My Mara Colorado Jeff did actually tell me what these cactus were called. Yes, he could differentiate these Mickey Mouse. I call them Mickey Mouse cactus because of the ears. But again, I think he was supposed to be one of the Texas Rangers. I might be wrong on the. I just buy these packs, and the thing is, I don't believe the packs actually tell you. It's like this one here. Does it tell me? No, it doesn't tell you what the figures actually are. You know, it's down to you. So, yeah, I just do the bases how I think. You know, how I think I'd like to see them on that particular batch. Yes, cactus came. I mean, I haven't put obviously any spikes on or anything, but you know what you are. You can get You can get the files to 3D print some of these. I might have a look into doing that, and definitely do some 3D printed cacti. I do believe that is the plural for them. Right, so that's my little group. Not exactly a stellar cast, is it really? And then we'll have these three guys. Can't stand them up, they're going to fall onto me figures and chip all the... Yeah, but we'll have these guys joining them soon. Right guys, I know, yet another hugely long video, but I just thought I'd get the little figures out. I don't get to see them very often, so I thought I'd get them out and have a look. There will be more figures coming throughout the year. I did buy one building, I think I did show it, and I did half paint it. Made a crappy homemade interior for it, so I've not bothered showing it because I did want to use it as a photo backdrop, but I think I'll have to bite the bullet, and I'm not sure if I think I can get the 3D files, not pay for them, and do some like their bar top counters and stuff like that. So we will get a couple of buildings at some stage, and so we can at least pose the figures on them. Thank you very much for stopping by and taking a look. Coming up videos, I've said all this before, this humble block of wood is about to be painted, or at least primered, and that's going to have our flat Napoleonic Hussar put on him. The Airfix 54mm horse, I've had a lot of love for that build program. I've actually got most of the horse painted now, apart from the tail and mane, so I'll be doing that tonight. And I haven't done any bits of tack that's actually stuck to him directly yet, because I'd prefer to do that. I might give it a base coat, but I'd prefer to do that when the rest of the figure is on, probably, so I don't differentiate the colours, if that makes sense. But yeah, so we'll have a chuck up of him soon on the video and have a look. Still painting a couple of Vikings. I've got some little epic cavalry, which aren't epic, but they're there for the client that's using them as proxies, and I've also got some British epic to show you as well, so all that's coming up. But thank you for stopping by and taking a look at my little Wild West or Old West showcase, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.